difference between success, opportunities, and just getting passed up all the time, a lot of times it's based off of your attitude. Some people have some of the worst attitudes ever. Rita's shaking her head like, yes, yes, because we experience it. Everything that I talk to you guys about on this blog is based off of real life experiences. It's not based off of anything other than that. Seeing somebody just miss an opportunity literally right before our eyes just because they had a bad attitude. And you know, the funny thing about it is that they were to be celebrated and championed. And maybe I should just give them a literal example. Somebody asked somebody a question inside of the Sky Club, and the person that responded to him, the guy just asked him a simple question specifically, but you know, you can tell that the guy that asked him a question, or because I had a conversation with the guy that asked him a question, I already knew, you know, what the objective was, but it was just to start a conversation. And you guys know that networking is just taking advantage of the opportunities and the communication that you have with people when you run into them. And so it was a guy that was really, really tall, and he doesn't play in the NBA because he's too old, but maybe he was a former player or worked for an organization because he had the whole NBA gear on. You know, basically to show you that somehow, some way he might be associated with the league. But, I mean, he was kind of dusty. That's neither here nor there. So the guy asked him, "And how tall are you?" But he asked like really friendly, like he asked way more friendly than what I'm telling you guys right now. And the guy just like snidely said, "And the guy was like, "Excuse me?" And he kept walking past him. You're right, Reedy. And he kept walking past him. 6'9". Listen, sir, I know that it's early in the morning. It's 7:10 Dallas time, so it's 8:10 Eastern. Every person that you have an interaction with, you have to. It is imperative that you have a good attitude. I don't care how you feel. I don't care what's going on.
Hello.
You know, one of the things that
I want to invite you to visit the city.
I'm really good at is being on 100% of the time. And I don't have to get ready because I already have a good attitude. I'm already in a good space. And so when I cut the camera on, whether I'm vlogging right now or I go live, it seemed like, yo, Anton always got a lot of energy. He always got a good attitude. When I'm in line about to board this flight, I don't care if people get in front of me just because, you know, I may have a certain seat or, you know, traveling business class or first class or whatever. You just got to have a good attitude 100% of the time. Look, we some of the last people to get on the plane right now. See that? It's an early flight, so it shouldn't be too many people on here in the first place. Speak to people, make sure you acknowledge them. They go out of their way to make sure you're taken care of. Often at times, the determination between whether or not you get upgrades or people treat you a little bit differently is your attitude. Attitude is reflected in how you move, right? It's how you treat people. I always tip well, and that should always come back to me. I just got a really, really big business opportunity just because I made sure that the person that I was doing business with, friend, I tipped them an extra $500, and you wouldn't believe the amount of money that they saved me as a result of it. So, good attitude, the way in which you operate is going to be imperative to your success every single time. I've never had Popeye's chicken a day in my life. Do you know that? See the Popeyes right there.
Where's the last place that we...
But another thing that I can't understand, y'all, is how people sneeze in the open. That bothers me. It really, really bothers me, and it seems like it's normal for people not to cover their mouth when they sneeze out in the open. Anyways, attitude, ladies and gentlemen. I see a lot of egregious things happen on a regular basis out here in these streets. But more importantly, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. It's not just about what happens to you. It's just what happens in general. I treat people incredibly well. You don't know who is who. And it's funny because I remember a video that I did with my daughter when I took her to work with me back when I was at my old corporate job. And I used to tell her, I said, hey, Everybody from the person that serves your food in the cafeteria, top of the food chain, because people think that they can only treat the CEOs really well. Don't you know that they get that all day, every day? And more importantly, don't you also know that they prefer, listen to what I'm saying, they actually prefer to be normal so that they can see who people truly are versus operating in a space to where everybody is going to treat them well just because of their title. If you really want to see who people are, then just operate normally. Just operate normally. The only reason some people came up to me, as illustrated in the vlog that y'all seen the other day, but the only reason, only way you would even be able to tell remotely that I have any money whatsoever, is A, because I may be vlogging, because this is not normal to just see people walking around in the airport vlogging. And B, I might have a presidential one. But other than that, unless you see what type of car I get in or something like that, you know nothing about me. And I like it that way, because then I get to operate, in reality, and to see how people truly are treating me on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? But I guess the moral of the story is, make sure that look at Rita, going over to get some candy. Candy Crush, that's Rita. Make sure that you guys are operating with the right perspective, right attitude, and you'll be much more successful. So I'm trying to tell you, most people do things because they like you, not necessarily because you got the best product. It's just real. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you need to email me, get at me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm gonna make sure I get you scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call, and we're gonna make sure you all set, all right? Look like it's a small wait over here. It's a small wait over here to get on a tram. And the tram is coming. And Rita's downstairs getting candy. No worries. It's all about attitude. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Do the right thing always, regardless of whether or not somebody is looking. Just make sure that you run that checkup in the meantime. Work ethic, mindset, attitude, and then consistency. You will get rich. I promise you. No matter what it is that you're into, no matter what it is that you're doing, we advocate for people to do the right thing, but you will absolutely get rich. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate you.